we were FaceTiming and I showed him a picture of Louis and Lestat. I was like, you know who these men are? Who are these men to you? And he goes, that's the sensual romance. And I was like, oh my God.
Now seating for Empty Theater Club.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Empty Theater Club. This is Val.
And I'm Cam. And today we're joined by Kelli Boyle. Kelli is a staff writer and producer for TVInsider with contributions to TV Guide magazine and Swoon, which is kind of a new thing I want to talk to you about, maybe not. Okay. But she first joined the staff in 2022, but has been working in digital news media since 2015. Some of her favorite shows include AMC's Interview with the Vampire, Fleabag Season 2, Outlander, Succession, and Parks and Rec. Me and Val are big fans of Kelli's work. She's really changed the landscape of some of the media we consume, especially me personally as an Interview with the Vampire stan, some would say. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Kelli.
Thank you for the lovely intro. That was very sweet. And I want to make it clear that I love both seasons of Fleabag. Season 2 is like occupies my brain at all times.
I feel like whenever I rewatch the show, I only ever rewatch season 2, not season 1.
Yeah.
Very rarely that I do both.
It's such a short binge anyway for both seasons, but like season 2 just hits so quick and so hard that I'm just like,
I started watching it with season 2. I didn't even watch season 1 at first.
Really?
So I was like, what happened to her friend? And then I went back.
Oh my gosh, boo! I can't think.
I famously have not gotten past the episode where her sister cuts her hair and is like, "This is very French," because I'm just like, I can't. Like, I wasn't in the space. Like, I know that I need to get this, and I haven't emotionally been in the space. It's been years. So maybe this is the year I actually finished Fleabag.
I can't believe you never finished it. There's such a good finale.
There is some profound stuff in the finale.
Yeah, and I'm sure.
Wait, oh my God! No, now I'm thinking of the end of the finale. You haven't. Have you seen? Do you know what happens?
No.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because I know, but like I will get to it. I just never did because I was like, no, I'm not ready for this.
There's some really good line deliveries in it too.
I get really frustrated by like characters I find really stubborn. It's just like it's part of my personality where I'm like, I can't watch this. Like I just can't do it. So
it's kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
Are some things where I'm like, I am not ready to watch this yet. Like I've been putting it off for years.
Yes.
Possibly one of the topics we talk about today is one of those things. I'm like, when I start that, it's going to change my life. So I have to.
Exactly. Like I know it's going to change this. So
you're not always in the headspace for that, you know?
Yeah. And the frontal lobe telling me, take a step back.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't have the real estate for it.
It's true.
Well, so much stuff has happened this week.
Great segue. 10 out of 10.
So let's revisit one of the things that started actually last week. I'm kind of jumping around, but David Lynch famously passed away, which is very shocking, I feel like, very sad. But it was very nice seeing like all the clips of him on social media and like being a lovely person. I had never watched a David Lynch film or TV show, never seen anything David Lynch. So this week I started watching Twin Peaks.
Thank God.
Enjoying it quite a lot. But it took me like literally all week to finish the pilot. Really not good at consuming.
It's a long pilot. It's an hour and a half.
It's a long pilot. It was like, it could be a movie. And, I think it was fine split up. Now that I'm in it, like I'll finish it. I'll actually watch an episode before. I famously do this a lot with shows while I'll step away. But I told my friend, and I'm gonna be honest now and like it'll be embarrassing when I listen back to this later. I'm like, it's not weird to me yet. It just feels like a very typical crime show, like very soap opera.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when does it start getting like David Lynchian? I guess I'm very into
like basically immediately, but episode 2.
Okay, well there we go.
Because now you're introduced to the city, and you're like, you have the land. And
well, he's very good at like capturing small town. Like I'm like, this is exactly how when murder would happen in my community. Like we've had famous murders. I'm like, this is exactly how it is. Like, but I feel like
your town has had famous murders.
Yeah, on Dateline.
Wait, famous murders?
This isn't like a whole thing. Now if we go into this.
Wait, no, that's Lynchian to be like, my town famous murders.
Yeah, famously murdered.
My favorite Twin Peaks, not my favorite, but one of the fun facts that I came out of, his death and everyone just talking about his great work was that he originally wanted the population of Twin Peaks to be 5,000.
Yeah.
And then the network was like, you got to add a one. So now it's 51,000 because they're like,
makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Like, where are all these people? But 51,000 is still really small. But he wanted it to be so small.
My town's 7,000, so 5,000 would be.
My high school had 6,000.
Oh,
see,
wow.
yeah,
That's
like
crazy.
Like they were like, make this a real. Let's make this at least a little bit believable. Like 5,000 is just way too small. There's just
I
no
think
way.
it would have worked.
That's so funny because it just feels so small anyway. Like
anyway, yeah,
51,000 people live there.
No, it's like there's just so many people just going around.
I think it was the note that came after everything was done. They're like, we got it.
Like,
so you make this whole story.
Like,
I'm watching it on like Amazon Prime, so it'll give me the random trivia facts when I'm watching it, which I love.
I love that. Yeah.
And like they filmed the pilot and then they didn't go back for it for like a year. So like in this episode 2, their hair is like different lengths and everything. Like they look different. It's very weird.
Wait, that's actually I never caught that.
Well, watching it straight through, I'm like, it is kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that happened this week that happened allegedly 48 hours ago.
The Oscar nomination?
Was the Oscar nomination.
I was like, I blacked it out.
Yeah. I was like, there was a lot that happened.
What happened? You're gonna have to tell me.
Yeah, I actually
the Oscar nominations are out, and
I'm gonna pull them up.
What a year for films.
What a year for film.
I did read a fact though. This is like the least amount of films. I read a fact nominated since the 2009 Oscars, which I think famously was the Dark Knight year. So just
are they meaning like a variety of
like
films?
like like Wicked being nominated in multiple categories. Like the least amount of films. That makes sense. And I'm like, that's interesting because it also is the year where everyone's like, there's no clear winner. Like it's
exactly.
Good.
Maybe that explains why Amelia Perez is in every category.
Oh Jesus, they just have to fill it. Well, Kelli, I want to ask you, what were your highs and lows of the noms?
Of the noms, I'm a huge lifelong Wicked fan, so I love the Wicked movie, and so I'm thrilled that it has there. But I'm like, it drives me nuts that it's up against another movie musical in most of the categories, and I'm just like, that one. I have not. Full disclosure, I have not seen Amelia Perez, so I can't.
Don't see it.
Yeah, don't.
I can't speak. I've seen your tweets about it. You guys do not like it. But
you know where we stand.
I will say El Mal's pretty good. Like that song is good in the movie, and that number is really good. So
which one is that?
It's like the red suit, Zoe Saldana in the room. Like
I watched that one. Okay,
that's really good.
That was good choreography. Yeah, and good.
Yeah.
I like that one. But like, I am most of my favorite films of all time are movie musicals. So like Moulin Rouge, Chicago, Wicked's one of them. But like, so I lifelong obsession with movie musicals. It's my favorite genre next to like gothic romance horror stuff. So like,
you don't say.
Please surprise me.
That's a good hand in hand though. Like that respects the balance.
I feel like Amelia Perez is like the enemy of all films this season. So.
Well, and that's why I have the theory of like, and this is not like this is a very lukewarm take. Like the split vote will be then The Brutalist or Conclave wins Best Picture.
Because I think it's gonna be The Brutalist versus Amelia Perez #1s, Conclave everybody's #2, and that's how. Like, I think Amelia Perez and Brutalist are fighting each other. I don't know though; they really like a complete unknown. They really nominated that weirdly.
Yeah.
So do you think that Amelia Perez of The Brutalist is going to win Best Picture?
No, I think that's everyone's #1s. So then.
But there's not going to be a majority on that.
There's not going to be a majority #1, so everybody's #2, which I think will be Conclave.
I'm ready for Conclave, honestly.
I love that movie.
We're Conclave films. Like we love the little.
I love Conclave so much. It is so good, and I'm a supporter.
The thing though, like everybody likes it. I don't think anybody doesn't. So it's
nothing to dislike. There's nothing to dislike. I feel like there's like I'm a defender of Isabella Rossellini's nomination.
I think she's so important to that film. Like, I think that's the perfect use of a supporting actress. Yes.
The only one in that category kind of not committing category fraud. Like, she's actually a supporting actress. And the
category fraud
lead actor, but technically supporting. Could work as supporting.
Yeah.
Although I would defend, it's funny because, again, bringing it back to Wicked Tonys, they put Adina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth both in Best Actress for
interesting.
Yeah.
against each other. But with this, they put Ariana and Cynthia in Best Actress and Best Supporting, and I can defend both of those things. I think both are reasonable.
I think you're right. Yeah, I could see it either way.
Because at the core of Wicked, it's like Elphaba's story, and then but like their friendship is obviously like the love story of the whole thing. And then, but like Glinda has so much stage time and such importance to the story that she could be seen as a lead, you know. Like personally, I really, really love when someone with very little screen time gets award nominations. Like Viola Davis for her one scene in Doubt, she had like 7 minutes of screen time, maybe less, and
look what you did with it.
Yeah,
but that's what the category
you have.
I also do think it's, to bring it back to a place of Wicked, I do forget that they still have Wicked Part 2. So I am interested to see how I'm interested to see why who they
like this year. It's like
is it going to be up? Who knows?
I think it'll probably, since they filmed everything back to back, I don't think, like, obviously there's no time like gap in between to make mistakes between filming Part 1 and Part 2. I think that it's gonna be just as good as Part 1.
But nomination wise, I wonder if Ariana gets that lead now.
Well,
I don't know if I'm like, well, like any, like, are they gonna be sick of it? Is my thing. Like, is it gonna be?
I think it would be worse off for them if they were waiting longer than a year.
Yeah.
You know, I think they'd have less chances of nominations if they were to like put 2 years in between it, because like people will just have forgotten about it and then be like, wait, back. But then, I don't know. I think they'd probably still keep Ariana in supporting, but I guess we'll see. I know she has she has a new song, so I think they're probably gonna be an original song category.
Yeah.
There's no high for me watching movies than a movie musical, and that can oftentimes include an animated one as well. Like I miss the '90s Disney films that were like just good dramas. And
had like random animation in it. It was like magic. I love that.
Yeah, like the hand-drawn 2D animation stuff. Like I love that. When they did, I was so happy when they returned to that for Princess and the Frog, because I thought that was sorely missed. And the 3D stuff, I like it every once in a while nowadays, but like I'm like fine with it. I don't hate it, but I love movie musicals, and it just so happens that a lot of them are animated ones.
That's true. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Is there another movie musical like you kind of like this year that also has Timothée Chalamet in it?
I don't know if that's a musical, but
I got a film with music.
You're like, dude, Part 2.
Like, I'm talking about Dune the whole time. No, I just love calling it Bob Dylan the musical.
I agree. I think it's funny to call it a musical too. So.
Yeah, I have not seen A Complete Unknown yet. I'm a little tuckered out by biopics. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna watch it before the Oscars. I'm making sure I watch everything that has been nominated, so that I'm interested enough in. But at least all the Best Picture nominees. I've seen. There's 10? I really need to see Nickel Boys. That's been recommended to me.
But also I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna like.
Yeah, I'm shocked that like it really like it annoys me when something gets like Best Screenplay and Best Picture nominations, but not like
nothing for the cast, nothing for director,
nothing for the cast
stuff, or any acting nominations, and that's a big snub to me, because from what I've been
targeted,
it's like
the film.
Well, and there could have been a supporting actress nom like easily, like, but there was all this category fraud happening. So
all this category fraud.
Category fraud. No, we need, as a nation, we need to come together. This is a fraud that's happening in our own homes.
Okay, so for Best Picture, it's Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, or however the fuck you say it, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, Wicked. I'll put it in the chat. I mean, I do think Conclave is gonna win.
I think it's gonna be Conclave, honestly. I don't know how many other. I feel like it's gonna be one of those years where the Best Picture winner doesn't win a lot of other categories, and so when it wins Best Picture, people will be surprised. But I do think it's earning of a Best Picture win. Yeah, it's a safe bet. I could see there being like a Green Book moment and an Emilia Perez win happens, and it's miserable for everyone. I'm really trying not to judge the movie too much because I haven't seen it, and I feel you should judge it. But every single like clip I see from it, I'm like, oh, don't take it out of context. But then I'm like,
Mhm.
how does
No,
it
it's
work
like it's
in context?
all
Right.
things
Well, that's
aside, like this is my thing. I'm like, it's just not. It's like I think it's a fine movie. I think it's like literally fine. It's nothing special though. Like, and I think
Right.
the ending's bad actually, but yeah, it's
It-
just not a good movie. At the
all
end of
the clips I've seen of it too is like we had this huge discussion about the color grading in Wicked. And Amelia Perez
Yeah.
doesn't color grade. That's not colored correctly either.
No.
So where is this hate about that too?
And
So-
I'm actually a defender of the lighting and color grading of Wicked.
I think it was
the
fine.
lighting, the one gripe I have with the lighting is Dancing Through Life.
Yeah.
It's too
Yep.
backlit.
Too bad. Yep.
I'm not saying that the lighting is incredible and perfect, but I think that people are being way too intense about it, and I think they're like confusing not liking a choice
Versus
Mhm.
thinking that this person has no skill in creating,
Right.
you know, and it's like, no, you don't get what they were trying to do, or you don't like it, and that's
People
fine.
thinking
Not
their
liking it.
opinions are facts.
Yeah, but that does
Social
not
media.
mean that this person doesn't know what they're doing, you know. That kind of critique doesn't often go to like white guys that are directing things, like when
No.
they do like and I'm not saying that John Chu did a mid job, I don't think he did, but when like a white guy does a really
good job. Yeah.
people aren't like screaming about it, like this
But
person
it's also like a woman
never
movie.
script.
Like it's a feminine film. Like
Yeah.
it's
People are just mad.
there's yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's a musical, it's feminine, and it's not directed by a white person.
Yep.
Yeah.
True. All that being said, I think Conclave is winning Best Picture.
That's what I was
All
gonna
that said, I don't think it's Best Picture. It drives me nuts that Wicked lost Best Musical Comedy at the Golden Globes. I'm like, I'm sorry, no.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
good movie musical on the
Stop the
ballot.
steal. Stop the steal.
There's a
This
good
is
movie
actually so
musical
serious.
on the ballot, and it's Wicked. It's like, I can't.
But best
Also, I have to be careful because I can be a little biased towards Wicked because it's like my favorite.
But that's like okay, like that's why you like stuff. I don't know. Like
I can't believe we're
fun.
getting a sequel. I can't believe it. Like when I left the movie theater, I was like, and we're getting another
There's more.
one. And I'm so
and
excited.
exactly a year later. Like it's not even
Yeah.
like we don't know.
I
You don't have to leave alone.
literally, me and my friend who saw it, we both have like these like personal stories with Wicked, and like those personal stories kind of like had a negative impact on our relationship with Wicked in recent years. And so seeing it together kind of became like a reclaiming moment, and the whole last 10 minutes during Defy, like we started holding hands in Defying Gravity, and we were just like like the whole time watching it, like
Yeah.
and at the end I like keeled over, my head was in my hands, and I just heaved and sobbed.
Yeah, as you should. I also think when people don't heave and sob listening to Defying Gravity, especially
it's quite chill. Even if you don't like the film, that is such a good like.
Oh my god, she's
talented. I don't care about how they changed it. I fucking loved it.
That's how I feel. That's like I see. Look, like I get it. Like why they chop it up? I don't care. It gave me more time.
It gave me more time. It extended it. It raised the emotional stakes. It added new narrative to the story. It elevated it. I don't want just the like on camera version of what I see on stage.
Right, me too. Exactly.
Magic.
I want the magic. I'm seeing an IMAX.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on the biggest IMAX screen in the state of New York. I want to be fucking wowed. Like, come on. Yeah. And so it was incredible. It was so cinematic, and I was so one of my favorite, like I was so looking forward to the movie to hear the music with a bigger orchestra than they could do on Broadway, and it was like 100-piece orchestra or something for that. So when that like Defying Gravity was blaring in my ears, and like I knew obviously like the movie was going to end with Defying Gravity, and I really wanted the cut to black at the end, so I got exactly what I wanted, and I was just like, oh my god,
my dream just came true.
I literally couldn't breathe. Like I was like holding my breath for the last 30 seconds, and when those big like timpani drums come in at the end, I'm like,
timpani drums.
Musical.
We need to talk about those drums more.
The drums hit so hard, literally. Yeah.
Do you think?
I can't believe we're getting a second one. And
do you think Cynthia could win best actress? Is she your pick then?
I've been thinking about this since the nominations. I do think it's possible for her to win. I think she did one of the best performances of the year. I think it's going to go to Demi Moore.
Yeah, same.
But I probably personally would pick Cynthia, but I also like would pick Demi. I think of these nominees. Like I think. I also haven't seen I'm Still Here though, so I can't speak on Fernando.
Has anyone?
Yeah.
Yes. Let me see this movie. I'm dying to see it.
But I think that I don't know. My gut's telling me that it's between Fernando Torres and Demi.
I think you're right.
I
The
don't
thing
know
that's
why I
crazy
thought
to me
that.
about it though is that Demi getting nominated for it. When you watch it, Margaret is in it a lot. Like
Yeah.
I think it's
How
a
is
co-lead
Margaret not
performance,
nominated?
and she doesn't get nominated at all. For
No.
like for a moment, Demi really slips away. I'm gonna eat her granola bar. I don't care. Demi really slips away during that film, and it's Margaret's film, and she nothing,
I
no
think
love.
they held their own.
Respected the balance.
They really did. I think that's the disrespect. I think Demi should obviously be nominated for Best Actress, but why is Margaret then not nominated for Best Supporting? Because I also think that was a true proper supporting actress role.
Yeah, I think that if there were like more spaces in the
Maybe if
category,
Zoe Saldana was nominated for lead, then she'd be in there.
I think that Demi had more meaty stuff to do.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, she had more like devastation to work with.
Yeah.
I think Margaret she did a really great job. I really liked it a lot. There's nothing I really dislike about that film.
Best Director, what do you think for that then? I love that she's nominated. I think that would be so big if she won.
I mean, yeah, it would only be the third woman ever to win Best
Ever.
Director. So,
Crazy.
It's crazy that they got her in there. It's crazy that it got as many awards as it did. Like that's crazy. Good for it.
Horror breakthrough. Yeah. I have no idea with Best Director. I have no.
I think it's gonna be Brady.
Is that
for the Brutalist?
For the Brutalist.
Yeah.
I saw that like he's my close personal friend.
You said Brady.
Yeah.
You said Brady. I was like, Hobbs? Like
Brady Hobbs?
I was like, huh? But, yeah, I also think the Anora train is out of speed.
It crashed too soon.
Crashed too soon.
Did not make it.
It's another one I haven't seen.
Oh.
But I
haven't either. But
I know you will before March.
I will before the I will do my homework before the
You'll get the train going again, maybe.
Yeah, no, let us know what you think about Anora. Kim, you haven't seen it. There you go.
No, I've not seen it.
I mean, I've seen the discourse about Sean Baker. I saw
that's why I haven't seen it.
What do you mean you didn't have an intimacy coordinator? It's just someone choreographing sexual scenes. That's it.
It's like not having a choreographer for a dance routine. You just kind of have like who else did the stuff?
It makes it better. It makes it better because like not everyone can be trusted to choreograph a sexual scene in a good, healthy, respectful way. Yeah. Best actor. Wait, let me pull up the notes.
So it's Adrian Brody, Timothy Chalamet.
I think it's Timmy.
Yeah, I think it's Timmy too.
I think after and my coworker said this week, so I can't take full credit for it. But after SNL this weekend, it's going to be a lot.
100%. He's so smart, doing it right after the nominations. I think Monica is going to join him on stage for the second song. I manifest. She was in London, but I do think it's.
And Bob Dylan is going to introduce him.
I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think maybe he's going to perform a song at the Oscars since they're not doing the original songs, and I think Bob Dylan will show up there. We'll see if they can get him out. I think. Oh, Bob Dylan doing the In Memoriam. Stop, chills.
No. Or maybe Ariana and Cynthia for In Memoriam. Cynthia's done those for past.
That's true. Would it be Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
Shut the fuck up! I can't imagine that. Sorry, I just got really emotional thinking about that.
Do you think Liza's going to go to the Oscars?
She got pissed last time she was there. She's like, I don't need to be in the wheelchair.
But Gaga on the hot mic saying "I got you," I was like,
also, I love Lady Gaga.
Let's just talk about Lady Gaga for a second.
I wish she was
Stephanie.
Yeah, she's a big part of my origin story, so we'll get into that.
Oh, come on, Stephanie.
I'm a monster. We'll put our paws up.
Supporting actor, I think, is going to be Kieran Culkin.
Oh yeah, 100%. But can I just say Guy Pearce is maybe the hottest man alive?
Who?
Guy Pearce.
Oh, nice. Fun take.
He looks really good.
I haven't heard that one before.
You haven't heard that about Guy Pearce?
No, I'm sure it's been said, just not around to me.
I want Jeremy Strong to win. It probably is going to be Kieran, but I'm put it out there, and I'm going to say Jeremy Strong. Because he deserves it. He deserves it.
I'm just like, Kieran's just doing his bit in a real pain.
Yeah.
Like, he's being himself. And I think Jesse Eisenberg, really good in that movie. But they are charmed by Kieran. I'm not charmed. I'm getting
Me either.
Best supporting actress. Ooh, best
Gotta be
supporting
Zoe. I think
actress.
it's gonna
Monica Barbera.
Yeah.
Barbaro.
Barbaro.
I think it's Barbaro. Yeah.
Barbaro, yeah.
Monica from Friends. Ariana Grande, Felicity Jones, Isabella Rossellini, Zoe Saldana. I mean, Zoe's gonna win. But
Zoe's gonna win.
Isabella's my pick.
Yeah, I think Zoe's gonna win.
I think Zoe's gonna win. But I think I would be really happy with an Isabella or an Ariana win. I think I'd be like, cool.
I think I'd be happy with all of them. I haven't seen Felicity in The Brutalist.
Yeah.
I think that Ariana's nomination is very deserved.
Yes.
She did a really great job. Not just someone who's like a singer trying to act. Like she did
she's so good.
I was crying. She's a character actress.
She's fantastic. People forget that she's a theater person originally.
Yeah.
Like theater people can do anything. If you can be an actor on stage, you can do a good job in anything else.
I do feel like
Which is why I think Tom Cruise sucks. I think my theory about Tom Cruise is that I don't think he could do theater.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
He's not a good actor.
Somebody hasn't watched him and James Corden do The Lion King on the West End. So original screenplays: Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5th, and The Substance. And I think Anora could win.
Original screenplay?
For original, I think A Real Pain might get it.
I didn't realize that was in there, and I'm like,
me either. Yeah.
But I think original screenplay.
Substance deserves.
Substance would be fun.
Substance would be
fun.
What
are the other nominees in that category?
The Brutalist and September 5th are the only other two.
Oh wait, sorry, we're talking about Substance. Okay,
yeah.
That's original, and then
adapted is A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys. Come on, Ramel Ross hot, and Jacob Anderson follows on Instagram. And Sing Sing.
Nice,
okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough of those movies to on that category, but I think
Conclave.
I stand Conclave. I want Conclave.
I love that movie.
We love Conclave.
When that reveal at the end happened, I audibly said out loud, "Fabulous!" Like, wait, have any of you been to the Vatican before? Because I haven't.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I went to Italy when I was 12 with my grandma, and we spent one day at the Vatican, and you have to have your like knees and your shoulders covered. So I
right.
And I'm a very inquisitive person. I was a very inquisitive
journalist.
Well, yes, become as a journalist when you ask so many questions. I'm with my grandmother, who is a big. She's a teacher, history teacher, all that jazz. And so I'm in the Vatican, and I'm like, wait, they have all this like beautiful stuff in here. They have like jewels and priceless paintings and everything. And I'm looking around here like, Nana, which is my grandma, and she was like, yes, Kelly, and I was like, churches don't make money, right? And she was like, no, they're I was like, how do they have all of this? And like, she was like, to her credit, she told me the truth, and she was like, well, throughout history, they got it through like some unethical means, basically.
Oh, period.
Yeah.
And I was just like, inside the Vatican, I said, this place sucks.
And everyone just stops, turns around.
Ray Fiennes and Conclave speech bubble.
But I love Conclave.
Wait, best original song. I think that's gonna be. You know who's gonna lose?
Diane Warren.
Yeah.
They better give it to her already.
Like, if they're not going to give it to her, they need to stop putting the fucking camera on her face when she loses.
It's so funny.
So abusive.
I think they actually should keep nominating her and keep letting her lose. Just because I want
to let her live in peace if they're not going to give her the award.
No,
like,
it's really
16 losses.
16 losses?
I think like half of them have been like consecutive over the last like 7 years.
Yeah. She keeps trying though.
At the last Oscar, they put the camera on her when she lost, and she was
like, she literally was like,
really upset. And I'm like, leave her alone. Like,
yeah, I also agree with
give her some fucking peace. Like, it's
she's gonna lose.
Her house
like,
burned
want
down.
her to lose, so we have this viral moment of getting her on camera reacting.
Yeah.
It's like, you are.
Well, she's gonna win it. She's gonna lose again this year because I think
I know
the songs from Amelia Perez is gonna win.
I actually can't believe if
it'll be better next year when a Stephen Schwartz song wins.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm thrilled that we're gonna get a new Wicked song.
That's true. You just get you just get new Wicked songs in general.
I also low-key want Cynthia to, maybe not this year because I really do want Demi Moore to win, but I really want Cynthia to EGOT. Like,
she's so close, right?
I think
is she not already?
She'll EGOT with this. If she wins an Oscar, she EGOTs.
She only needs
Yeah.
Because she has a Grammy for Color Purple, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Emmy for what she has in it? What she have? Her a Color Purple performance on Colbert, right?
See, there's
I
always
think that's
something.
what I think that's her Emmy, right?
Because I have no idea what, but I know this is her.
Because there are Emmy categories for like live performances on like late night shows.
I'm pulling it up. I'm getting to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
She won it for outstanding musical performance in a daytime program for The Color Purple. Wow.
Oh, daytime program. So it's probably a Good Morning America thing or something.
Not that good though. No, she's one away.
Yeah.
An EGOT. And God, talk about deserving.
She'll get it one day. I think she'll get it one day.
She's so close to getting
She's
it.
an Oscar away.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is going to get it one year too, which I think is good.
And I think that might be the year that like you can't go back on like climate change. Like that's gonna be happen the same year. Like it's gonna be like
can't go back.
What
do you mean? I think we're there.
No, but you know,
die after that.
They're like, this is like you actually can't go back. Like this is we're pushing it, and with
the Earth's dying.
Yeah, like this is.
They're gonna make that announcement
because once Lin-Manuel Miranda EGOTs, the world will be over.
It'll just be like
harsh.
This is just added to the list.
Listen, what songs are people singing from the recent like kids movie musicals this year? They're singing the Lion King ones. They're not singing Moana 2.
Not singing Moana.
Brother.
Yeah, that one. Anyway, Lin will EGOT. The world will be fine.
The world will fine. The world will always keep spinning.
The rapture will not start.
The Earth will spin. Who knows? That's it.
Yeah.
Who else is gonna EGOT? Do you think the next? I think Lin's gonna have it the next 3 years.
I think Gaga will in the next 5 years.
Yeah,
I think Gaga will. Yeah, for sure.
Rachel Zegler.
Well, I don't think in the next 5 years.
She could EGOT.
But I think in her
life. Will, but I don't think soon.
Yeah, the next 10 will get it.
She could EGOT. Yeah, I could see that.
Love her. Mike Feist, come on. No, he would never put in the work. Sorry. Like he just wouldn't do the effort for it. He would never campaign enough for it. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't find movies enough to do.
I missed the name. Who?
Mike Feist.
Oh,
he wouldn't put in the work.
He won't campaign. He is so fabulous.
No, I just don't think he will book roles. I think he's like, I like being in Ohio. He wants to do stuff.
He loves his family. Right. Last category, I think, is best cinematography.
Oh, you care? Clap if you care.
Well, I care because Dune
and
Nosferatu are in it. And that's I'm
thrilled that Nosferatu
got in. So I'm happy.
What else did it get in? Something else too, right? It got a few noms.
I think production and costumes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, no, hold on. Let's talk about production and costume design because I actually strongly think that Wicked should win at least one of them.
So it's makeup. So makeup and hairstyling is Nosferatu, and also it's Emilia Perez.
Production design.
Substance, Wicked, A Different Man, and Nosferatu are makeup and hairstyling. So I think makeup and hairstyling, my God, like that's gonna be tough. And then production design is Conclave.
Production design is such a fun. See, that's
great.
I love it. Production design is like one of my favorite.
Part 2, Wicked, Nosferatu, and The Brutalist. So I don't think The Brutalist should win, obviously.
I think for production design, I want Conclave to win. Or
my top 2 for production design in that category is Nosferatu and Wicked. But I love Conclave is fabulous too.
Yeah.
I like Nosferatu, or for production design, Nosferatu is doing that for me.
Those are all really good. I mean, I haven't seen The Brutalist, but it's just like beautiful.
Production design category this year is actually one of the better categories.
It's like all of those.
But then makeup and hairstyling, it should be but the substance is in that too. It's just gonna be tough.
Oh well, it's gonna win then.
Exactly. It's the substance, Wicked, or Nosferatu. This is actually the last one. Is best costume design.
Okay.
The Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Wicked, and Nosferatu.
Wicked and what?
Nosferatu.
Yeah. Beautiful gowns.
I think Wicked and Nosferatu for me.
Yeah.
Like that's my genre preferences though, you know.
I mean, I'm such a Dune Part 2 girly though. Like I love that movie.
Yeah.
But Dune's not in costume design.
Oh, well then I guess
no. It's A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2.
A Complete Unknown. Oh wait. Okay. Conclave is so funny to me. They said, yeah, those folks got that shit on.
They said the Levi's got me,
that's
but
hilarious.
not the suits with the sweat. Not that stuff.
Yeah.
I do think it should go to Wicked, honestly.
That
was the most like
I agree.
imaginative.
Oof.
And everybody, like all,
everything, it's just so beautiful, all of it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It was beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's
Like
very
Glinda's pink gown specifically, I'm like, that's a fucking
When she comes down, I mean, the one.
Even like when they come to the Emerald City, I guess like for production design too. Yeah, like
all of
shit.
so much of Wicked
You're
was
right. You're right.
practical
You're
effects.
convincing me.
So much of Wicked was practical effects, like the
tulips.
Tulips. That's
Yeah.
my new, like, did you know Viggo Mortensen broke his toe in when he took the helmet in the Two Towers? Like, I'm like, did you know they planted massive fields of real tulips, like the size of like 9 soccer fields or something for Oz.
Oh, see, that makes me like emotional. Like I want to go back and just like watch that scene alone. Like when they have that shot of going over the tulips, I was like, I know that's real too. Like those
so
are real.
Much of it is real. And I think, and this actually goes back to like the lighting design discourse and stuff. I think that in clips and stuff, you don't get the full scope of how gorgeous the production design is and how gorgeous the natural colors of the set are. And like when it's on a big screen, you're like, and you are in like the wizard's like lair or office, whatever it is.
Like, office,
his hall, the hall, whatever it's called. Like that green and gold are the most gorgeous colors ever, and it's like it's all just like that's real set that they made. That gold head that they made, that's not CGI. That was functional.
That's crazy.
Like so much of it was practical effects, and that's like if a film or a TV show commits itself to like real practical effects over CGI as much as they can, I'm like, you have my good graces forever.
That's I agree with that, especially like now, like we're having this discourse. That's good. Okay, maybe you're convincing me for production design, like over.
I think Wicked should get production design because it built a whole fantasy world.
It's
that lake that was like they built boats that could
on
the water.
If this was Christopher Nolan, who does this, it would be without a doubt.
Without a doubt, it would be a sweet,
and it's like, well,
why is built that whole school? Like Shiz was real.
Shiz, the clock and how the clock spells its O and Z with the and that's real. Someone put a hammer in that. There's a hammer real.
It's all real. It's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. And like can I share my defense of the lighting?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think that what they were trying to do with it was like establish this fantasy world where like it's like John Chu has talked a lot about how nature plays a huge theme in the magic of the world that they built, and which makes sense. Oz is this great, beautiful land, right? And he talked about how like Elsa's powers are rooted in nature, very like Elsa, like from Frozen, which nor Frozen invented this concept, but they both use this idea right, of like your magic power being rooted in nature. And I think that they were like the architecture of Shiz itself has so many open spaces. It's meant to like you can feel the air flowing through it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like part of the land around it and not like intruding on it. So like the nature can flow through it, and that includes natural light. So I think it makes sense that like there's massive archways and big windows and everything, and lots of beautiful stained glass for the sunlight to just like beam through. And I feel that there's like a magical essence to that and that's what they were going for. And I think they overdid it with the natural light a little bit in some
ways. And so like in Dancing Through Life.
Yes, specifically Dancing Through Life. It was way too backlit. I'm like the backlighting there actually affected the saturation of the gorgeous set that they had there and the costumes and everything. And like I couldn't see Johnny and Ariana's faces enough in some moments for that.
When they kiss, I was squinting.
Did they kiss in that one?
But when they're like right up to each other. Like,
that was I'm like zoom in.
Yeah, zoom in.
My critiques of Wicked are not enough close-up shots and the backlighting and Dancing Through Life. And some other things.
I agree with that.
That scene, like when they do the ball thing, like in the club.
Yeah.
I think that's beautifally shot and like beautiful light. Like it's like clearly they I think it's
because I also think
obviously this is like they know what they're doing.
That was more zoomed in on that one. So maybe
I think and that's beautiful production design again. Then like beautiful.
And it was like being it like underwater. I don't know if that was meant to be clear in like the.
I picked that up.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if that was meant to be clear in like the Broadway show, but I've never noticed that if that were part of the stage show. So when it was, and that could have been my failure, but
no, I had no idea either. I just thought it was literally
that was there. I literally grabbed my hand and I was like, "It's under my friend.
It's underwater.
Water. That's fabulous!" Like I loved it so much. But yeah, I think the lighting at Shiz and stuff is meant to produce a magical air, like the magic here is made by nature. That's and stuff. And I think they were trying to make the production design that they built like speak for itself with its colors.
Also, it kind
of does. It's gorgeous.
It's a different take. It's very much a different take of. I mean, a lot of the complaints were like, "Look at the Wizard of Oz. Like, look at those colors that they did back then. Why can't you do it now?" I think
literally we can, but okay.
Yeah, like literally you can.
We literally don't have the ability to do Technicolor stuff, but okay.
On your point of Oz is supposed to get color through nature, I think it flips once again Wizard of Oz on its head because it says the Wizard of Oz is the whole lie. It's the lie of Oz. Like they wear the green glasses in the book to make everything look green.
Right.
And when you see Wicked, and you're like, well, why is it not super colorful? It's because it's not. It's because it's through nature.
It looks like the real world.
Yeah,
it's real.
It's not
it looks
fantasy.
like our real world.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like fine. It's totally fine. Like it looks fine. Like it's just not doing what you want. Like it's
like you don't like it.
Okay, it's not that
okay to not like it, but to act like it wasn't a deliberate choice and was a result of a bad job is incorrect. It was deliberate.
For a movie like
no way
you're stupid. How much money they put into that? Like
there's nothing happened on accident in that film. Everything was purposeful.
Yeah,
and
the amount of time into it.
Also, people too talking. I didn't expect this to be such a Wicked conversation.
Yeah, me either. But we haven't had a Wicked.
We haven't had a Wicked. Well, because we Gladiator too. That was
over. Yeah, but continue on.
As a person who loves the stage show, that was a fucking fantastic movie adaptation of the stage show. And I'm thrilled that we're getting a part 2 because the issue with the stage show is that it goes by too fast.
It's too fast.
Right?
Exactly.
It can't be detailed enough in it. And that's just the stroke of every Broadway show. So the fact that we're getting 2, I'm like, over the moon.
Yeah, I think those are all the nominations.
I mean, sorry to the below the line people who we're not discussing. We talked some of the below the line, but
yeah, we've also done this for like hours now. So
piggyback off of our discussion of media that we love today, would love to know what was the media that shaped you growing up? Like what was the culture that made you want to like tap in more into media, pop culture, TV, and all of that?
I was a big Disney Channel girl growing up as a kid. I remember like seeing the trailers for Kim Possible on Disney Channel. I think Kim Possible started when I was in like 7th grade or maybe a little earlier. And I was like, I've got to be there opening night. Like I was really, really dialed in for Kim Possible and Hannah Montana. Like, I remember those trailers specifically. I was like, this looks like a fantastic series. And so I have to go watch.
You said, I'm tuning in.
I miss the days of Disney Channel where it was like truly like great television programming.
Yeah.
Which is the network, you know? So it's not like that anymore, really. Feels like
they don't have Disney Channel anymore because all the kids are watching YouTube. Like they don't even.
I mean, it still exists, but like it's like not as.
It's not. Yeah, it had like Disney Plus.
Yeah, like they're not making like shows that like are like genuinely good. Like I could enjoy them as like an adult.
Almost. That's So Raven.
That's
I feel like the Mickey Mouse
needs to be like I need Raven back.
No, we don't need Raven House. We just need That's So Raven back.
The TV network that gets Raven to star in her first like adult comedy is gonna make so much money.
Yeah.
Like I want her, like she needs to be back on sitcom. I want to see a dramatic turn from Raven. Like one of the funniest, most talented. Like she has made, I think she is still to this day the most successful Disney Channel star that there's ever been.
With good reason. My God.
Yeah.
Like the Cheetah Girls. Yeah.
But she also started when she was like 2. Like she didn't have like she was out of the womb
like
laughing.
That interview or like Instagram live video she did once where they asked her if she's ever used her Cosby Show money, or if she's like if she's rich by herself without that, and she's like, I've never touched my Cosby money.
Wow.
And she's only rich outside of that because of Disney Channel stuff. Like she is successful.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was the media that I was really tuning in like every week. I was like, I felt really like the TV fan that I am now started there. And I also loved, I love Nickelodeon too. Like I really love SpongeBob. But I grew up like the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s kids programming.
Yeah.
Like I loved it so much. I didn't watch Cartoon Network as much, but I really loved Powerpuff Girls.
Oh,
Wait, I kind of like, I always put them away from Cartoon Network. Like they're their own entity.
Yeah.
I
Or
forget.
like Courage the Cowardly Dog. What a diva. Loved him.
Scared me.
I was so
I was
scared. But I liked that I was scared. Like that excited
It was
me.
the eyes that got me. I couldn't watch.
Yeah, like he was too, that was too viscerally real emotion for me. Those networks were like really my like intro to pop culture, and like
Right.
I really was dialed in to the going on of those TV networks. And I also watched a lot of I was watching TV all the time as a kid.
Yeah.
I really was.
Which is so funny because I think like I probably was too, and it's like we turned out okay, but now I'm like worried about the screen time of kids.
How would I put
the difference? I feel really strongly that like there's.
But we also went outside, so
there's streaming has made too much choice.
Yeah.
And like so many young people aren't exposed to things because it's just what's on, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you can just choose whatever you want on Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever at any given moment, like there's no forced exposure to other things that become a pop culture education, you know.
Right.
Like,
what do I like, what don't I like?
So I like the first time I ever heard about like Michael Jackson was seeing a music video on MTV.
And it's just because it was on.
Yeah. And I was young. I was like I was really young seeing Michael Jackson video for the first time. Same with Madonna, I think. I think my first exposure to her was on MTV as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was they really made like it was a cool microcosm of pop culture being a Disney Channel and Nickelodeon fan back in those days.
Did you have people to like that you talked about with it then, or was it just kind of like, you know, with your friends?
Yeah, I grew up as a dancer.
Okay, cool.
So, we would talk about these shows like on breaks in dance class, basically.
Oh yes,
and stuff. Yeah,
love that.
Did you have like growing up, like how were your parents like? I think what like makes a difference of like were they like strict when it comes to television, like what you're watching, like sibling wise? Because like
if you're a PBS kid,
yeah,
right?
I love PBS shows.
Well, I did too. Lazy Town.
Lazy Town was great. Was that was Nickelodeon? Wasn't
it? That was Nickelodeon.
Oh well.
Great.
Yeah, did you transition into like ABC Family then? Were you like on, you know,
I was
the
watching
CW?
ABC Family. By that time, my parents let me start watching network dramas. So
okay.
That I went from like Wizards of Waverly Place to like Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
Oh, I would Desperate
for
Housewives.
sure.
Desperate Housewives and Grey's Anatomy were the first.
Yeah. Well, I think also like Val and I both have older sisters, so I think that was like I was watching One Tree Hill when it was airing because like
I've never watched One Tree Hill actually.
Well, I loved it when I was.
I didn't even like watch the teen dramas really. I mean, I watched like Boy Meets World, which had its dramatic moments.
But then you'd watch it with your like. I remember watching Desperate Housewives growing up too because I'd watch it with my parents, and then Extreme House Makeover would happen right after.
Yeah, I remember. I like in season 1 of Grey's Anatomy, it would air on Sundays after Desperate Housewives. So that was
my God,
yeah. So I remember watching the pilot of Desperate Housewives and being like,
holy shit, yeah. Like she's wearing a tank top. Like that's
no, I think I was really blown away by like just like the it felt cool to watch something older, you know.
Right. And then no one else.
I was like I was just very like, wow, beautiful women.
What was the earliest like TV award show, like adjacent, like Emmys? Remember?
We love award shows.
We love award shows. Like I think that's like a big. That's always sticks out to me of someone's origin story, like the first Emmys they remember. And what is the biggest like steal that you think? Like the fact that like Amy Poehler doesn't even have an Emmy for acting.
I don't remember the first Emmys I watched. I don't remember not watching the Emmys.
Yeah.
I remember caring more about the Oscars when I was a kid. And so I watched the Oscars.
Which makes sense. There was such a roundup.
It was kind of funny. Like I didn't realize until like my 20s really how much like TV really did like my early 20s, like college, how much I loved TV, you know, like because it was always present. Like my parents didn't like my parents always had TV on in the house.
Right.
It was never like they were never like playing music kind of thing. Like if we listened to music, it would be like in the car on the radio. But the background noise in my house was growing up was always TV. News or just sitcom reruns or sports, like always just ever present. So it took me until like my early 20s to realize like, oh,
that's
TV
not
is my
normal.
whole
Right.
life.
You're girl.
Yeah, you know.
Now, did your parents though like I feel the same, but my family doesn't care about pop culture. Like they were like, that's just how it was. Like they're not like engaged.
My family isn't as tuned into pop culture as me, but my dad really is. Like my family as a whole not, but my dad really loves it. He actually, I have this VHS tape tattoo.
Oh, I love that.
And it's inspired by the first time, a time that my dad took me to the movies when I was like 6. Do you remember Doug, the animated show?
I think.
Doug?
Doug, yeah. It was, I think it had a couple of different networks, but I feel like it was
like the football head guy?
No, that's Hey Arnold.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
Hey
Doug,
Arnold
okay.
is a
I
television
recognize him.
masterpiece, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yes, good kid. Come on.
And that's
Yeah, he
something
was
too, like that's something that's lacking nowadays in kids media too, is like I learned about like the fall of Saigon through Hey Arnold.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy. And it was very informative and beautiful, you know? Like that's a fantastic episode, crushing, devastating, and it's an animated kid show on Nickelodeon. Like, bring that shit.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm like,
Well, now they would
and
never.
then same with
outrage.
Same with adapted like books. What was it? What is it? Oh my god, the Magic Tree House books. Like they would always
and going through
like the adjacent of on TV.
Yeah,
not bad.
But yeah, stuff like that. So my dad took me to see Doug's first movie, which came out in like 99. And he worked construction in his 20s and he helped build one of the movie theaters in my hometown. Yeah, so he took me to see Doug's first movie, but he was still friends with the owner of the theater, so he arranged an exclusive screening just for the two of us.
Wow.
Okay, VIP red carpet.
Yeah.
It was just this tiny theater, and I had no idea he was planning this. He just planned like a father-daughter date for me.
Yeah.
Special. And he through his friend was able to like take me up to the projection room and see the film reel and press play on it and stuff. And
oh my god.
And
that for Doug. This is the most random movie.
Yeah, no,
Doug was great though. Doug was so great. And yeah, I just was like, movies are magic.
Yeah.
Well, see, love it.
Yeah, because it was my dad like just made that like magical memory for me. So that's the true origin story of me loving media. And then my dad is always watching TV, and I've been entertaining my colleagues recently with his takes on the new shows on TV because he watches everything.
Oh, that's fun.
He's like, I'll give everything one season. And I'm great at predicting.
One season is a lot of time to dedicate to something.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, nowadays it's just 8 fucking episodes.
True.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch 22 episodes, like Ugly Betty season 1. 24 episodes.
Let me be clear, I'm okay with Interview with the Vampire doing 8 episode seasons. I'm like, you can do whatever you want. You are beyond reproach. But like,
I mean, if they wanted to go longer, I won't be mad too.
Listen, if you want to double the season length, I'm
just throw shit in. Don't even have to have just fill it. Have
you got?
If you hear me hating on 8 episode seasons, just know I'm not talking.
Yeah, not
you, honey, not you.
What have you gotten your dad to watch? Like since you
Interview with the Vampire, apparently.
No.
Oh God.
No, he thought it was good. He liked it.
Period.
And I had no idea that he watched it. I only learned.
Was this not that long ago? Like, were you tweeting about this?
Yeah, I was.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I was shocked. My dad is this like in his late 50s, great white guy named Dave, who wears exclusively like khaki pants and polos and like a phone clip on his belt and New Balance.
Oh God!
I've watched every single episode of Interview with the Vampire. So Val, what is your excuse?
No, I was like, they're gonna say it, aren't they?
No, and I had no idea he watched. And then
that's funny.
My dad is like kind of a media literate king.
Wow. He has this
wait, I showed him a picture. We were FaceTiming and I showed him a picture of Louis and Lestat. I was like, you know who these men are? Who are these men to you? And he goes, that's the sensual romance. And I was like, oh my God.
Did you grow up reading? So like you would watch it, but did you ever go out of your way to like read interviews, you know, and have the posters on your wall? Like
trying to dive into the lore of it.
The posters on my wall was a lot of NSYNC.
Okay.
And I was a young NSYNC fan though. Like my older sister, who's like,
I was gonna say, yeah,
she's like 5 years older than me. That was like her teen years.
Okay.
in like early teen years and stuff, in sync. And then for me, it was like the first thing I was ever obsessed, like a stan of.
Yeah.
It was.
So it's our One Direction.
Yeah. Yeah, a boy group, famously.
Yeah.
Always a boy group.
It was In Sync was literally the first thing I was ever hyper focused on.
Love that. Yeah. I love a hyper fixation.
I started getting interested in digital news media when BuzzFeed got popular.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And which was like what, when you were in high school?
College.
College.
Okay. Well, sorry. And
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, it got like but like all like throughout college kind of thing. Like I feel like it started early college for me. But
so before you even went to college, like what did you get your degree in, I guess?
Journalism.
Okay, so but that's crazy that you had that as your idea before you really started getting into.
I went to Penn State and I had applied directly to the College of Communications, knowing I didn't want to do anything else. But I originally was going to do film. And
okay, wow.
There was this movie theater right across funny, just like George Mason, right across the street from the entrance to Penn State's campus. That was like an old movie theater. They would do like stage productions there and old movies and stuff. And my first film class was in that movie theater.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, cool.
I was like, I hated the teacher so much, like that
really?
class like less enjoyable. So
Yeah.
If this guy is going to be a teacher of mine frequently, if I start in this, I don't want to do
that.
It does suck.
Were you going because you wanted to make films and stuff, or were you like?
Well, I'm an actor as well.
Okay.
So, like, I wanted to act. Like I still wanted to go to college and not just like do like audition for things and not go to school. But I didn't. I think I just wasn't confident enough to audition for acting programs. So I was like, I'll do film, and that way I can do camera stuff. And because I was like, I love TV and film so much, I wanted to be involved in making it somehow, right? Really, the goal, more than anything, was to get to New York. So,
well, look at you.
Period.
Yeah. So I tried a couple of different majors out after I did film, and then I was like, I'll do PR. No tea, no shade to PR as a major, but I hated it. And or I shouldn't say as a major, as a profession. I work with publicists all the time now. But for me, my spirit, I'm like, again, let's go back to that story in the Vatican. I'm standing in the Vatican saying, this place sucks.
This place sucks.
I don't have the energy of someone who can just like do PR. You know, I was like, oh, this is about sometimes making bad people look good.
Yeah.
Fuck that. And so I went to journalism, where I was like, this is about truth.
Yeah, I want to.
And dealing with publicists.
I want to.
Well, yeah, I didn't at the time when I switched to journalism. I had no like entertainment news media wasn't on my radar. And but then BuzzFeed became popular, and I was like,
oh my god, that was like the perfect storm then.
Yeah, so I was like really interested in that, and so I was like, oh, I could do journalism that's not political.
Yeah,
and not that I have any issue with like writing about politics, but my interest was entertainment, right?
Right.
And so I
that wasn't TMZ, like it was like real journalism.
Yeah, it was writing,
and also like different than like
culture writing. You know,
right? Yeah.
My entrance into digital news media, like how I ended up here, was really out of a love of pop culture, not out of like film critique.
Right. Exactly. So you're speaking to the choir, man. Come on.
Yeah. It really. I was ready to be on social media. So my senior year of college and I was doing like musical theater in school as well. There was like a student run theater group that I was really involved in. There was like we joke that it's like you're majoring in thespians kind of thing, and it was so time consuming, but I loved it, and I was minoring in theater as well, and then majoring in journalism. And then BuzzFeed was popular, and I was like, oh, I could do this. And then I realized I wanted to do it as a job, because remember the BuzzFeed contributing program?
So
the free labor they would take. Never do that again. But
community contributors,
the community page,
millennial journalists have gone through so much. Like watching HBO Girls, I'm like, that's crazy. Like you guys didn't get paid for shit.
Not for shit. It was like you build exposure.
Like that's crazy.
It was crazy. So I wrote one. It was like I remember it was like the summer between my junior and senior year of college. I wrote a BuzzFeed article just for fun, and it was how it feels to be allergic to cats, told by Donna Meagle Parks and Rec gifs.
Oh, that's fun.
That is the most,
and it got a lot of traffic.
BuzzFeed thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because I was watching Parks and Rec at the time.
It got a lot of SEO traffic.
Yeah, it was really successful. So on the sometimes like the high traffic contributor pieces got put onto BuzzFeed's main page.
Oh, nice.
And that happened with mine, and I was like,
wow,
oh,
holy shit, I made it.
Crazy.
I can do this. This sounds fun. This could be my job.
Yeah.
I could actually get paid.
What do you mean this could be my job?
Yeah.
And then around not long after that, I got an email from someone I knew in college who was like trying to recruit for an internship at Elite Daily. Basically wanted me to make a college program that was similar to the BuzzFeed community program.
Okay, cool. Wow.
Yeah, that's cool. You can lead that.
Yeah, I created that, and I made like a student-run club on Penn State, and then my boss there asked me to create asked me to come to New York over spring break of my senior year and make a pitch to give to the CFO of the company at the time to be like, you should hire me to do this full time.
Wow.
No pressure.
No pressure.
At 22.
Yeah, so so I did that, and it worked. And that was the only job I applied for, and which I think is cool because like
you literally made your own role.
Yeah.
So they paid me shit though. So, but it brought me to New York, which was like my goal. I didn't want anything more than to move here right after graduating. Like I've wanted to live in New York since I was a kid. So I was like, even if it's like a waitressing job, I'll take whatever it takes me to New York.
Right.
It's the New York hustle.
Yeah. It's just I just love it. So now I've been here for almost 10 years.
Wow, certified New Yorker.
I'm getting to the point where I feel like I can say that.
Yeah, it's almost 10 years. You're at the mark. So exciting.
Yeah.
What's Lady Gaga's role in all this?
It's not a straight role. I love the VMAs.
Yeah.
Okay. The VMAs, the 2011 VMAs. So it was like a queer awakening thing, right? Mm-hmm. So like in hindsight, I was not watching Chicago the movie in a straight way.
You said, yeah, I love that movie.
I was 11, I think. I think I was 11. That's like a movie musical that's better than the show it's based on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Chicago.
And the Academy would agree.
There have been more earned Best Picture wins. But, there's plenty of very earned Best Picture wins, but Chicago very earned. But
that was a crazy year, though.
Yeah. Catherine Zeta-Jones is a very formative person for me. So the Cell Block Tango changed my life. I was like, like watching all those women.
Literally A-cab.
Yeah, and then the 2011 VMAs specifically, when Lady Gaga was in drag as Joe Calderone performed.
Oh yeah, oh god,
that was the same VMAs where Beyonce did her pregnancy announcement.
Yeah, because Lady Gaga goes to the camera and she's
she's like,
with a cigarette.
Yeah, come on.
With
I remember watching that VMAs by myself in my kitchen in my childhood home. Lights are off. I'm just watching it on the small kitchen TV. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, like this is on TV.
There was something changing, and I didn't know what it was in the moment, but in hindsight, I was like, oh, this is a formative queer moment for me.
It's funny.
Very formative. So I was like, it wasn't because like she was like dressed as a guy. I was like, oh, this is because this is a woman in drag.
Like Butch. Yeah.
Yes, it was the Butch. Yeah. I was like, what are you? What is that? What is that?
Yeah, so also, what is your like screen time? Like, I would love to know, especially as like a journalist, like how does that, I feel like you're always
in front of the TV though, not on your phone.
In front of a TV. Yeah.
Like how often am I watching TV?
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, that's like, that was my thing though. Like
probably less than my colleagues, honestly, or like people in my position. I know that some people are like have TV on the entire time, like during the day while they're working, be it like just like former episodes that have already come out kind of thing, just to have sound on, or like they're watching screeners. But for me, when I'm watching screeners, I want to really pay attention, so I don't want to do it while I'm working. Sometimes I can, and it's fine. But I am always watching TV.
Do you like still like this was one of the questions, but is it ever like this is at work, or is it still like fresh and fun? Like, are you ever like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's shows where I don't particularly love it, but I cover it for work, so
Yeah,
Right.
that's
I
hard.
try to enjoy it. And there are some shows that have like I'm surprised have made me really enjoy it.
What is a show that you happily got to stumble upon and happily got to cover that was unexpected to love?
Survivor, actually.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Well, the thing is, I remember watching the very first episode of Survivor as a kid. So I used to, it's been on for so long that like
Right.
I tuned out eventually.
Yeah.
But I really
Yeah.
liked it as a kid. And it was
Yeah.
like the first kind of like reality show of its kind, really. And like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is new. This is fun. And I can't remember if it was the very first episode or if it was like just a pivotal episode of season 1, but there was a hurricane in my hometown and it knocked the satellite out. Right
Oh,
as
wow.
the votes for tribal council were being read in this.
Oh
episode.
God.
I
Oh
was
my
like 8
God.
years old, being like, like
Oh my
freaking
God.
out. Like, it's
Yeah.
like I got to tell Jeff Probst that recently, actually, which was
That's
fun.
a dream come true.
And he was like,
Nice.
I'm old.
I love
You're like, so
it.
He's like, how old were you when that happened? And I was like, Jeff, I was 8.
Awesome.
Jeff, you raised me.
Yeah.
I'm your daughter.
But so I ended up, we used to have a freelancer covering Survivor, and then at TVInsider, and then I just got assigned it, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I know Survivor, and then it reignited my love of Survivor, so that's really fun.
It got like assigned to you. Does that happen a lot then, like with your work? Like you're assigned shows for it, or okay, interesting. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know how it works at other websites, but our process is basically like claim these shows, or it will be
Okay.
assigned.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Any
okay.
unclaimed shows just get assigned.
Got you.
What do you like? What did you usually go for? Like, was there a pivot? We're like, okay, I want to cover reality TV, and then now I want to cover drama. Like, is there usually something that you go for, or it's just kind of like
I want to cover shows I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I want to interview the people in it, right? So
You said I've got a goal in mind.
I have an agenda.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah. So that's the leading strategy, and then I'm not into procedurals, so I try to avoid those. I do cover some, but they're just not. The format isn't my thing. I want like a full narrative across a season, not just like story start to finish in each episode, right? And that's not 100%. Insult the format. It's just not my preference. Yeah. But there are some shows that I'm super into it, actually. Like, I'm really charmed by Matlock. I really like Matlock, the new Kathy Bates show. I think
heard that quite a lot, actually.
Kathy Bates is just so good, you know.
I love that might just be
like I tuned in for her, and also I really like Sky P. Marshall on that show. I just like it. You know, it's fun. So I also am in an era of like letting myself have shows that I like casually enjoy and not just.
What's that like?
Yeah, you just not hyperfixating on it.
I had to figure out what it was like. You know, I was like, I think I do. And so I'm letting before it was like I want to focus on like the things that I'm like insanely passionate about, right?
When did you feel like you started to become a genre person then, or like a supernatural girl? Like that's the type of media you like to consume.
Yeah, I always I don't know, I always enjoyed it. I love fantasy. Disney childhood probably did a lot on that front.
Right.
And I just think fantasy adventure is the best. I love shows and movies set in our real world, and I can really appreciate them and love them. But I am more moved by a complete escapism.
Oh yeah.
Which is like the genre, like that's what makes movies specific. I mean, books can do it too, but like you could visually see we can go anywhere.
Yeah. Like I think Robert Eggers said there was like an interview that came out with him the other day. It might have even just been yesterday, where he was like, the idea of having to like
the car
makes me want to die.
Yeah.
I'm like, right. I don't want to see the fucking
we
car.
can do anything.
Like,
exactly. Why would I direct a Tesla? I want a carriage because I can't.
Yeah, I want to see things I can't see in real life.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And so, and then I feel like the first vampire thing specifically, because that's my favorite like supernatural genre. What was the first thing I loved? I don't know. I've always loved vampires.
Dracula.
I can't pinpoint what the first thing was that I loved, but if we look through a list of all the vampire movies and TV shows ever, I'd probably be like, oh, that one. You know,
that one.
Yeah, but I've always loved it because I don't know. I think vampires are the hottest of the occult.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, I agree. Vampires are hot. I also, something I like about like a supernatural, or at least just like fantasy as a genre, is that there's so many different directions you could do. Like there's the world of like My Lady Jane, and then also like Interview with a Vampire. Two very like different but also overlapping. Like it's cool that you can do it in that genre and still make it like,
well, or even do it with like vampires. Then you can have like Nosferatu and Twilight, like you know.
That's somehow
Twilight.
I was gonna say, girl, is it Twilight or True Blood?
I was
Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
Twilight was the one. Yeah.
Come on, Mormon media.
Yeah. I remember reading the Twilight books in my high school classes and getting in trouble. And I was reading I remember reading
books
and getting to the point where Jacob imprints on the baby, and my teacher being like,
Kelly, you with Spartacus
and I literally went, I was like, I cannot stop reading right now. like, no, you don't understand. I was in my chemistry class, I remember, and
that was so funny.
My desk was in the front row of the class, and I just
so
I walked on my desk.
Is that serious?
No shame.
He was like, Kelly, are you paying attention? I was like, you have to stop.
No.
Like, not now.
That's Jacob just imprinted.
I remember being like,
this.
Like, no, he just did that. Like, sheer shock that he imprinted on a fucking baby. And then I was like, no. Like,
I would take detention. I would take suspension. This is more important.
Yeah, and I was like, I do not need to learn about the periodic table right now. Jacob's imprinting on a baby.
But in addition to being a writer, you also do interviews and have helped produce some video content.
Yeah.
Was that something that
producer credit?
Come on, Queen. Was that something you wanted to do as well when you started kind of diving into this media thing, or how did you start getting involved? I mean, like, what was your role in the Knock Your Blocks Off?
Oh, that was my idea.
So that's fun. Yeah. Like, how do we get to?
Yeah, how do we get that?
Somebody doing this?
Knock Your Blocks Off came from me randomly competing in a Jenga tournament with my friend.
Okay.
At the TWA hotel, that like vintage hotel at JFK, you know.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, the place that's meant to look like the Pan Am era of
that's
travel.
And it was I got invited as press to just participate for free. Like they wanted me to just participate and maybe write about it. And I was like, I can't guarantee that I'll write about it, but I'd love to attend.
I'd
like to play some Jenga
regardless. And, they said yes, and so I got to go, and I had like posted about it on social and stuff. So, but I was like, there's no TV angle here. Like, I can't write about this.
Right.
Yeah. I was gonna say on that. That's crazy.
So I got my friend Evan to come with me, and he came up with our team name, Jenga for Coolidge. And we
that's so good.
We ended up, I was pissed I didn't come up with it. I was like, you're
so funny.
Yeah. And then we almost won. Like, we didn't prepare anything. We just went. And,
didn't prepare for Jenga? You didn't
train? We were one win. If we hadn't lost, we were one win away from winning money. And there was almost like 40 teams in this, and the grand prize was $10,000.
Fucking shit!
And then we did it again 6 months later, and the prize was $14,000.
What the fuck?
We got out really early that time.
Okay, so it was big.
We won best team name that time with Jenga for Coolidge.
Oh yes.
And after the first time I played, we just kept on winning. We were just like looking at each other like, what is happening? I did not expect to go this far. And then the team that beat us ended up winning first place, and we were like, well, if you have
if you're going to be beat,
yeah. You had to go through me to get that.
Yeah.
So
I was this is in part because of me.
Yeah.
I let you
go. Can I have some money?
It was so stressful.
That's crazy.
And even more stressful the second time. But after, like, it was just a really fun day, and so fun. And then I was like, I need to make famous people play Jenga.
That's fun.
That's where that came from. I was like, we need to do this. Like, I must
imagine if it were a celebrity. This would be crazy.
But then for copyright reasons, we can't call it Jenga. We have nondescript.
That's part of the video.
Nondescript blocks that fall if you pull them out.
Yeah. So I think it's so funny that we have to bleep out Jenga in the videos because it's a copyright thing. So
it's like you have to blur it. That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like coming up with concepts.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it.
So then when you're interviewing someone, take us through the process of preparing for that. I mean, I have my favorite, I was just rereading. I like Jacob Anderson. I don't know if you knew this. Big fan
What?
of his.
I've never heard this
This is the
before.
first time on the mic that it's come
Oh,
out.
but say.
Wow.
Famously, big fan.
Yeah.
And you have a beautiful interview with him where he talks about the pebbles and his
Yeah.
and casts, scattering them around after the end of Interview with the Vampire. So
Mhm.
like conversations like that, is it you're a fan of something, but how much just how do you approach any person you interview? Is it research? Is it just your own kind of opinions? Is it talking with your crew, colleagues?
Yeah, less group collaboration for interviews, but everything you said before that for sure.
Yeah.
It's a combination of everything. So of course it's watching screeners. It's if I don't know the show very well, like just looking up its history and reading into that and everything.
Yeah.
For and then also, I mean, really studying the screeners is really what it's about for me personally, because what I'm interested in talking about with actors is like their character choices, the choices that they made. Like I couldn't be less interested in their personal lives or just like honestly hearing about like on set stories kind of thing. I'm like, those questions will be asked by
true.
people.
Yeah.
What I go for in my interviews is character analysis because it's part of my artistic brain as well. All I want to know is how they made that character. There's no better person to talk to about these characters than the people who made the characters.
So true.
When it comes to when I'm prepping for an interview, I think about who I'm talking to. Like if it's a showrunner or an executive producer or a writer or director, that's someone I want to talk to about overarching plot. And then if it's an actor, character analysis.
Okay.
And like
Yeah,
that makes sense. Reactions to like big plot events as well, but from the lens of
your character,
it happened.
Yeah.
Because of what's happening to the characters, right? Yeah, with that Jacob Anderson Pebbles quote, those quotes came from my season 2 press day with the show. So like I went into
interesting.
Yeah, they very graciously gave me a lot of time with the cast for season 2. I was like, when I got the email with my time confirmations, I was like, oh, I feel loved.
I made a mistake.
You're like, so they love me.
I was like, oh my God.
But yes.
So I went in person because it was like at a hotel near my office, and I was like, it's this cast, I want to talk to them in person, you know? But it was literally the day after they came to my office for the Knock Your Blocks Off shoot and all that stuff.
Oh,
like, saw a lot of me that week, and like
that's so
literally on the carpet and I did the season 2 premiere party too. Eric Bogosian goes, "Here you are again," and I was
like, so you
which also Succession fan, so love that for you. You know?
Yeah, and it was fun, and then so I was there. Jacob, I think, was my last interview of the day of that. Like,
please don't talk. I can't. I'll cry.
Was it Jacob or Sam that was last? I think it was Jacob, but Jacob and Sam were the last 2.
Yeah,
and so yeah, and I was that room where they did like their group audio, like their group Zoom interviews and stuff. That's the room I was in talking to Jacob.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were just like sitting at a table and talking, and I had watched the screeners for episodes like 1 through 6 for season 2 by then, and I'd watched them a lot. So I was like, I spent all of those interviews getting coverage for every episode.
Wow.
Which typically on these like pre-premiere junket days, people are getting like preview coverage and stuff. But our MO at TVInsider more often than not nowadays is to like focus on
in-depth,
like episodic stuff as much as we can, because preview stuff doesn't always hit, you know. So
that's so cool.
I prefer to use my time to talk about all the like the screeners, you know.
Right.
And because you don't know who will be available when in season. Specific episodes, because they always make people available for big episodes and everything.
Right.
Like weekly postmortem interviews are like always possible, but I'm like, I have this time, I'm going to use it to talk everything I've seen. So that was, I think the Pebbles question was like the last thing I talked about with him that day. I think I had like 20 minutes with him. And
well, it's interesting that like you talk so early on, like, and that doesn't come out until whenever the last episode. Like you have like, I mean, how you're saying, like you do kind of stretch out that content that you get from one day for the length of a show. I mean, as it's relevant, but that's really smart. So then you kind of stay in the conversation and be like, oh, I have, because I know that story like broke the internet a little bit, like at least for the community. And it's like, well, you had talked about that months ago.
Yeah, and because I heard that podcast interview that he did too, and I was interested.
Yeah,
why
it's kind of weird how it all comes together.
Like ceremonial thing that he did. Val, do you know the story?
No, I'm a fan of.
You know who Jacob Anderson is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So Jacob had done this podcast interview, and he said it was after season 2 had wrapped filming, and he said that he took some pebbles from the set. There's like a little Zen garden in one of the sets that he took some pebbles from and like strew them around New Orleans, or like not New Orleans. New Orleans and other like meaningful places to him.
Other places
like a bookend for season 2 filming because it was a really intense season, and so he
kind of the end of Louis' story specifically.
And so I remember that day on Twitter, fans were like kind of freaking out that
he was like
Jacob was leaving the show, and I knew that fandom had a lot of concerns about that. So I was like, I knew people wanted context.
Yeah.
I was like, if I have time, I'm going at like
I'll do it.
For all my episodic questions, I'm going to ask about this at the end. And so I did. And I was really interested to know why he did that, because also I had seen the first 6 episodes of the season by then. So I was like, I knew how intense it was. Obviously, I hadn't seen the last 2, which are even more intense. But I mean, I knew the book, so I knew what was coming.
Right.
So I was like,
okay, that's helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted him. I wanted to give fans an answer to the question.
Well, so
that's also you being in the fandom or being a fan of something has that benefit of, I did hear this. This is what fans are saying. Like, you know, I think that's what makes it's kind of a level of research in itself of even not even trying though, but like you're able to come into an interview with this context on and then
boots on the ground. What are your
fangirls in the room?
Arrest this now kind of thing. Yeah. So the fandom is very special to me because I had never really been deeply involved in like fandom before this show. And this, I mean, I kind of measure my time in life before this show and life after, because it's like I didn't really have like one favorite TV show before. Oddly enough, I had like a bunch that I loved a lot, but I could never be like, oh, this is the best, this is my favorite, right? And then interview became that. But like the fandom experience has been very special for me, just because it's been like I feel very like welcomed and loved by them, and that's very, very sweet. And I want to provide for them, which is why like when I do my interviews, I do ask like things about topics that I saw them talking about. You know, I'm like, it's fan service. You know, not my fans; it's the show's fans.
Right. And but I think that we feel that like I think that's why we love you so much.
Resonate with it. That's so sweet.
Yeah. And there was a really sweet moment during my interview with Roland and Mark when I walked into the room. Roland, like the AMC rep, introduced me, and I had interviewed him once before over Zoom, and Roland was like, he jumped out of his chair and was like, Kelli Boyle, oh my God, it's Kelli Boyle. And he like came around and gave me a big hug and was like, my actors love you, and like just was like, he was really sweet, and really that's part of
that's so sweet.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
And I was like, he was like hugging me.
Also like, hey, I acted. If you ever need somebody to make,
you said, well, I'm an actor who loves me, so.
I love them all. I love it all very dearly. So I'm really not in any other fandom other than this one. So that's why I'm so invested in it. So, yeah.
Before we get into our pitch for Severance, like what's your pitch then, Kelli? Or what's your generic pitch to get someone to watch?
Generic? I can't be generic.
Okay, but like the pitch.
Yeah. I think I need to know why you're not into it.
Yeah.
Talk
your experience.
I have discussed this a bit with Cam and also Bobby.
Bobby is in Disney World. I did text Bobby.
Yes.
She is at Disney right now, but she says hi.
Oh, hi,
Bobby. But I think a common problem, not a common problem, but a problem that this show is facing is is some of the insanity behind some of the fans and like the intense pressure of that, because I feel like just from what I've seen through Cam and Bobby,
You don't have to engage with it. You don't have
yeah,
to.
right. But I think what is hard for me because of that, I can't watch something, love it, and then be like, yeah, and that's that. Like I'm gonna want to like engage in the discourse. Like I don't watch Succession normally. I don't watch Severance like a normal person. I'm just like, I'm obsessed. I want to know everything about it. So I think that's kind of in the back of my mind where I'm like, I know I'm not gonna be able to dive into it because I don't want to engage in a lot of this discourse. I don't want to, you know, like, so I think it's a defense mechanism where I'm like, well, if I just don't watch the show, then I don't have to ever worry about it. So I should preface with that. But I did watch the first episode. Jacob Anderson obviously is a generational talent. Like I saw him in Game of Thrones. Like he's great. But I don't know. I think there's something. What? No, not.
I would have killed her. Don't worry.
Where's this going?
So Jacob Anderson, great talent. I mean, seriously, great. I loved his dynamic with like his sister and everything. I hate Lestat. Like I don't like, which is good. That's good on Sam Reed's like acting skills. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not liking you. That's good. Like I think it's I'm seeing it, but I don't know if just for some reason it does not.
You said before, after you watched the pilot, which this was the crazy thing, I think it's the best pilot of all time.
It is a great pilot, very long. My God.
Well, okay. Don't, that's not a
not a bad way, but I was like, this is really long for her.
It's like a movie, yeah.
I don't
you said you don't like, it's not, you said you don't like longer than an hour. No.
It just
you don't like vampires is part of the gag.
Yeah. Like this is this vampire I didn't like, but I love. I like
Nosferatu.
I love, like I like Nosferatu. I liked Twilight. I like Dracula.
Invest in it. I think you just need to do it.
Yeah, this might be the year I do it. But anyway, that was like that kind of vampire. I just like didn't like. I don't know. I also love like a New Orleans like witch. Like I love that.
You should watch Mayfair Witches.
Okay, yeah, maybe I probably should. I probably like that's.
I haven't watched it.
Okay, well, that's a good recommendation. Where I'm like, I like that. That's a sweet spot for me. I associate that with witches, not vampires. Like, I think those things are different. Like, I love a vampire that's European. Like, I love Transylvania. Like, I love.
Okay. Well, there are European vampires in season 2, but I don't know if you'd love them.
Oh.
Well, I mean, Lestat is French.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, not the French ones.
Yeah. But those are my qualms and why I don't go all the way in. But that being said, like you are chipping away, because by saying talk about that more, it's like you're kind of right. Like let me examine this as a consumer. And I'm also not one to be like it's a bad show. Like I obviously know
no one could say it is.
Like
it's a great you could say that, but it would be a lie.
Yeah, right. It's like, okay, let's call it. Let's be honest here. This show is incredible. I think also it deserves so much more. I really do think, especially with the talent behind it, the story and the cast. I don't know why the show is not doing more, especially for there are people and audiences that are just dying to watch this. Like I know friends who are like, you would love this show. Why aren't you watching it? Maybe not me, but I know you would love this, and the word of mouth. So I think the show deserves a lot more praise. I will never publicly be like, I don't like this. I appreciate it. I think it's a great franchise and they're doing great with it. Jacob Anderson deserves the world, especially with how much you've posted. Like I didn't know half the majority of the stuff that you posted. I don't know anything about it. I was like, wait, he seems like a great guy. So
I feel like you're afraid right now.
I'm just like, so
you're like, please don't yell at me.
Please
it's okay to not like something. It's okay if it's just not your cup of tea.
It's just not my cup of tea. Yeah,
and I think that's it. We can't convince you. It's just not.
But
no,
I
can convince her. But
I still think because I work with like, give me a good pitch and I'll watch. Like a true like fine.
I have some follow-up questions.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
So do you like the Vampire Diaries?
No, never got into it.
But you watched some of it.
I watched like an episode or two, but I've never like committed to it ever.
And so when you like a vampire story, do you like when the vampires are like monstrous and not human like?
I think so. I think I like the difference of like there is a human and then it's like very much you are a vampire and you.
Like Like you like the vampires to be clear evil villain.
Or maybe not villain, but like clearly vampire, like clearly different.
Like you like Nosferatu.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And remember, you did like Twilight.
Me? Yes. I thought you said I was like, yeah, I think you like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So I feel like Twilight might be an exception to your taste here, but it sounds like you don't.
Yeah.
You're not into when vampires act human.
Yeah. No.
Fair enough. That's fine if you want vampires to be like, if your cup of tea with vampires is for them to be scary.
Yeah. I also love I like scary stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I
there's scary stuff in the show, don't get me wrong. But it's like the show, what's so fascinating about the show to me, I'm going to address the fandom thing first, actually.
Yeah.
So don't let a fandom stop you from watching.
I know.
Don't let it stop. Because also you could just scroll past. You can scroll past things you don't want to see.
True.
And also everyone you're not the only person on the internet who has said like the fandom is intense and it has turned them off from watching the show. But there's also a lot of people who have been like, who have watched it anyway and been like, oh, this is one of the greatest shows of all time.
I get what is
ignoring this.
So like you watch Game of Thrones, like you know what
there's
the fandom
people that are like, who I think very rudely on several levels say that this like interview has like a CW audience.
Yeah, and they say that derogatory. Yeah, they say
I think that's very rude to the fans. I think that's very rude to the CW. I think that's
yes, CW catching strays.
Exactly. Yeah.
As if there's something bad about people liking the CW, as if the CW shows are inherently
well, and also like being a young female audience, probably.
Come on, CW
young women can't have interests.
It's like the idea that like One Direction's music isn't serious because its fans are 13-year-olds.
Yeah, right. Same thing. True.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought. But don't let a fandom stop you from watching the show, but also like saying like the CW audience thing I've never liked, because there's nothing wrong with the CW audience. And there's an implication there that young people can't like prestige. They're not smart enough. They're too girly to enjoy something serious and artistic, which I fully reject. And so that said, the fandom is intense. Fandoms are, but you can curate your algorithm so you don't see it as
I know. Gotta do
it may be harder on Twitter to do that nowadays. But like your how much you engage with the fandom is your choice. Yeah. And I totally get the like being hesitant to tune in because you're like, oh no, I'm gonna want to fully engage in that way. But I mean, I see like the discourse a lot. It can be a lot, but I also exist peacefully there.
You're like, and I just log off.
Yeah, it's like you take in what you want to take in and participate in what you want to participate in, and that's social media in general. So I think you can still have a grand old time on Interview with the Vampire Twitter.
You can follow Jacob Anderson daily. They post really great.
They're definitely the most reliable.
That place. They're doing a good job.
They're doing a really good job.
That applies to any fandom in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you choose what you engage with and whatnot. Yeah. Don't stop yourself from enjoying something like.
I know. I have the bias.
Yeah, but also now to talk about the plot in general.
Well, also, actually, real quick, pause. Also, there's this guy called Jacob Anderson in the show.
Have you heard of him?
I have brought him up. I said yes.
I don't know if you know this, but I really like him. Okay.
We love
I will say, and I feel that I know I obviously I love this show, but I am still able to have objective opinions about it.
Yeah.
My love of it. And from like an objective standpoint, not tuning into this show as like a big TV fan as you are, you are missing out on one of the greatest TV shows of the moment.
Yeah.
Period.
So if you are a fan of if you are a lover of TV and stuff, like you have to give the show its due.
Yeah.
Can't miss this one. Yeah.
That's a good. Yeah, I can do 7 hours of my life.
Yeah, you can.
And then you might watch season 2.
Watch the space.
Okay.
Watch the space. Okay.
So I think that you will find that you can't not watch season 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, like a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah. In a sense.
Yeah.
I think that's the other. I do think with Interview with the Vampire, at least like the first season, like or both seasons.
Oh no, huge cliffhanger at the end. What are we talking about?
But
Okay, okay.
Like, I mean, you've seen the movie, like you kind of know now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but
But they changed things. They changed
They do
Exactly.
change things, yeah. But I feel like it's like season 2, episode 1. The cliffhanger payoff isn't like a Severance season finale. Like it's like
True. Okay, okay.
throughout season 2. Does this make sense what I'm saying? Like
And
it's
also,
not like
you don't have to wait
you
for
get the reveal right away, I guess.
I get to do back to back if I want to
Yeah.
watch 2. I already have it.
Oh, but with success, like the Succession has like twists, like shocks, right? Like that's what's good. I think there's a lot of that in the show.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And so what I find most appealing about it too is that it's like you are watching, and this is why I asked if you like how you like your vampires.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
Because these vampires
You
are
like your
like
vampire.
so human, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how do you like your eggs in the morning? How do you like your vampires?
No, that's
Yeah, no, it's true. There's a preference. Okay.
Yeah. So this is like the big appeal for me personally. I think vampires are such like a meaty category of storytelling because they live forever, and like how do you cope with living forever, you know? And this show specifically, like, to me is the best example of like unpacking like immortality, in the sense that like you are watching this main character go through his memories, but it's the concept of like, you know how you and a friend could have a fight, and months later after it's resolved, or like you've just like time passed and you've moved on and everything, you can, like, you're talking about the fight, you realize that you both have very different memories of what went down.
Yeah.
You experience the exact same thing, but you remember it differently, because your memory, like the whole context of your life, your feelings and everything inform how your memories are stored, right?
Yeah.
And so a vampire who has lived for hundreds of years is unpacking that.
How do you like file that? Yeah.
And he's like trying to look through his memories and be like, am I remembering this correctly? He wants to make sense of his life. And so he's doing it.
And he's presenting himself in a certain way.
Yeah.
I think the Dubai stuff is very underrated. Like what also
Dubai
just
gets so
doing
good.
there.
Like,
that plot
I love
line.
every scene of the show, period. But Dubai in season 2 really,
as he reveals stuff like in real time. But yeah, Louis' character arc is just so good, and the season 2 finale is like the biggest payoff of like all time. So
you might have, I mean, have you heard about people saying it's like an unreliable narrator kind of thing?
Yeah. There's too many things where I'm like, okay, I know so much about this show now because I do keep up with, like, you sent me Jacob Anderson stuff and like stuff from like fan edits and everything, but
that's true. I sent I sent a lot of edits when she was like, well, I'm not watching the show. And I'm like, well, you have to watch it.
I have to watch
it. I love fan edits so much.
Yeah. No, they need to have an Oscar and Emmy category
for edits.
But there is an unreliable narrator storyline, but it's not as black and white as you think when you hear unreliable narrator.
Okay.
It's much more complicated than that. But it's in the vein of like people experiencing the same thing but remembering it completely differently. But also there's a supernatural element involved.
And at times, like, there is very monstrous, like it can be a very graphic show, like
but it's really like, these are not, it's so fascinating to me because like you thought immortality would change your life, would take away your human pain, but no, you're just human forever.
Louis, I love you.
That is insane.
And that's what I love about like the Anne Rice vampires so much. It's like they think they're monsters and they act in monstrous ways in many ways, like they are vampires, but like becoming a vampire didn't stop them from feeling human emotions. Now they're just intensified.
That's great.
And like their humanity still affects them. The things that happen in their lives,
even if they wish it wouldn't, or tried to shut it off,
affects them, you know. So if you like watching shows unpacking the fucked up nature,
the vampire trauma. I will.
But also, like,
they're doing that in the show, and then they're also just vampires who fuck each other. It's amazing.
They're also gay vampires. I don't know if you've heard. But also, like, Louis like tries, like, Louis.
I'll say on the mic, I'll give it a season.
I did it.
Yay! You can watch tonight.
You have to watch Severance.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to pitch me on Severance. I will watch Severance. I want to watch Severance. I just have 2 shows I'm watching right now. Like that's what it is. After
You
I
should
finish
watch Severance now because like it's gonna.
I'll probably, I think after
Yeah.
I'm starting season 8 of Game of Thrones like tonight. Like I'm just compiling Jacob's scenes. So
Oh.
after I,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
the final
Which-
season. Have
okay,
fun.
well, which I haven't finished, so I'm like nervous that I'm gonna actually have to watch it.
Wait, season 8 is
Wait.
the last, right?
Season 8's the last season of Game of Thrones.
You didn't
Yeah.
finish Game of Thrones?
I never finished Game of Thrones.
Wow.
Oh, so you're so you're watching the season as like not even a
Oh,
rewatch.
you're gonna love. You have a fun Jacob Anderson episode.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He has some fun stuff and stuff.
What? Well, I mean, I know about a certain like head chopped off scene.
No. But you
Yeah,
have
other
other
He
stuff?
has like full action star moment. Like
Yeah. I know you like, just rewatching. That's like season 8.
yeah. There's some great stuff. There's great Grey Worm stuff.
I just did the Castle T Rock, like when he takes over that, and I'm like, okay, King, like you're acting, like you're popping up.
Wait, okay, this is good to know because I totally would have just like said
If you like Casterly Rock stuff, that
I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah,
excited,
yeah,
Jacob
yeah,
Anderson, the
yeah.
movie star that you are.
yeah.
That's why I was like, I know he's talented. I've seen him in season 8 of Game of Thrones. Like he's a really good actor.
Wow,
Yeah.
well, excited
Oh,
for
wow.
that. So I'll have that done Sunday, and then I'll probably start Severance. I don't have Apple TV, but I'll get it. And
Well, I'll give you my Apple TV because you gave me your
It's,
TV. It's also
I got a push notification the other day offering me a month free for
me
Apple.
too. I think so too. Yeah.
I mean, I love Adam Scott, so like it's
I love
not.
that.
Is it airing? Is season 2 all out right now, or is it like
No.
episode-
Once a week, but 2 episodes.
Okay,
are
well,
out.
I'm not doing that. Then I'll wait till.
No, but you have all of season 1.
It's season 1 to watch.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But I mean, I watch a TV, like I'll have it done.
You're like my homework.
Like I'll have it done. I am watching Twin Peaks though, so I'll probably, I think I'll still watch Severance and Twin Peaks because Twin Peaks are not like.
That goes hand in hand, actually.
Severance is a faster watch than Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I'm
Not
super
just in
excited.
terms of episode count, but I just mean like it's Severance is like a quicker, like a speedy binge,
Yeah,
Episode lengths are like probably around the same, but it's just Twin Peaks is like a slow burn.
exactly. I think Twin Peaks will be kind of like when I'm, not in the like. I think it'll be different than a Severance.
Severance can be a little like I'm not saying that Severance like isn't a slow burn. It is in a sense, but I think it's.
But you're like next, like it's quick. Yeah.
Like you want to start immediately after, but
I mean, you can still pitch me on it if you just want to. Like you or Val. You guys want to, you can. But I will.
I think you are convinced though.
I agree because my pitch, I was like, I'm thinking about it, and there are aspects of my pitch where I was like, no, I need you to get. There's like certain plot points where you have to get to that on your own.
Okay, I've got you.
Because you're gonna love it.
Mr. Milchick was in our office for a shoot this week. Yeah.
But speaking of Adam Scott, can we do? Yeah. We have a question to ask you, like a rapid fire question. Harry Kill, Adam Scott, Kendall Roy, and the Hot Priest.
Wait, why is Adam Scott the only person not a TV character?
Oh yeah, he should be a TV character. But no, we're keeping him as it is.
Also, I will say it should just be Adam Scott because Adam Scott.
I think he should not be a TV character. That's funny. I didn't even realize that.
Repeat it again.
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott.
Kendall Roy.
Kendall Roy.
Hot Priest.
And Hot Priest. Oh my god.
That's so funny that we're not changing it.
No, and I don't know it was on purpose because I think
we meant it to be the Parks and Rec one version of him, but
if it's okay, it might change my answer if it's Ben versus Adam.
Let's do Ben.
Is it Ben? Is that his name? What's his last name? Ben
Wyatt.
Yeah. Ben Wyatt, Kendall Roy, Hot Priest.
Yeah.
I'll give my answers for both actually.
Okay, thank you.
So
thank you for your service.
I'll start with Ben Wyatt version. So oh no, I have my answers. So I'll start with the other one. So marry Adam Scott, kill Kendall Roy, and fuck.
Yeah, I think you're right. You do fuck the Catholic priest. That's always what you do.
Well,
come on,
you
conflict.
marry me. That's the problem.
That's true.
True.
Yeah. So with the Ben Wyatt version,
is it the same?
No, it's the same.
I think it's the same. I think it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same.
Marry Ben Wyatt, kill Kendall Roy, fuck the hot priest.
I love Ben Wyatt. Yeah. Kendall Roy should not marry anybody.
And I don't think you want to fuck him.
I would fuck Kendall Roy though, and I would kill him.
No, personally, I think I would marry him though, just to take care of him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
I wouldn't want to be a stepmom though.
I'm gonna throw one at you that you weren't prepared for.
Yeah.
FMK, Louis Lestat, I don't want to do the other one.
Do it.
Who's the other one in this which
I
other
mean,
one?
like, which other one?
Armand?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an easy answer for me.
I know. Well, yeah. That's why I was like,
Killing Armand.
I knew you were gonna kill
Wait,
Armand.
What's another famous?
I'm still mad at him.
But then, do you marry Louis fuck Lestat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be. Can I marry both Louis and Lestat?
Can they just marry each other and
my ideal?
There. I'm there.
I'd like a throuple.
Have you seen Jackie 2016?
Yeah, one time I watched it on that illegal website I told you about.
Period.
And I remember liking it. I remember being like, accent?
And many people keep saying that. Everyone was like, I remember the accent.
Yeah, but I remember I thought Natalie Portman did a good job. I liked it. I thought that I really liked seeing the car zooming off, like that whole sequence after he was shot. I thought that was really good. I was like, that's cool.
I thought that was cool.
I just thought it was a cool cinematic thing to like see the moments after that, because we obviously have seen the assassination
in the bath on the plane, and
yeah, like we've obviously seen the footage of him, like of his death, but like,
flattered.
not as cool to see that. I mean, maybe his family doesn't enjoy it, but I just thought it was. I was like, well, yeah, if you're gonna make a JFK movie, that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah, that's true. You have to include it.
Yeah.
Peter Sarsgaard underrated in that film as RFK. Any Jacob Anderson thing you want to just tell me personally? What does he smell like?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, what
does he smell like? I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Is he nice?
Oh, he's wonderful. I can't say he has an identifiable smell. That was weird to make me say that. No, he is really like everything you think about him is true.
Is he taller than I think he is?
I don't know how tall you think he is.
How tall do you think he is?
He's always just up against, like, I see him in Game of Thrones, so I'm like, okay, you're up against Kit Harington, like,
yeah, some short people. You think he's tall?
No, I think
shorter than Sam Reed.
Yeah, but in Game of Thrones, I'm always just like, okay, I'm assuming
he's not short. Jacob's not short. Like he's
okay.
There's this weird. For a while, there were so many people in the interview fandom who were calling Sam Reed a short king, and I'm like,
yeah. It started up again recently, and I said, what's
so
this
weird?
about?
No,
it breaks my brain. I'm like, he's not like
tall.
the short king is 5'7" or shorter.
Maybe because he wears the heel boots, so they think he's cold.
I just think because some people think that if you're not 6 foot, you're short.
You're short.
I think you're right.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
You're 5'7" or shorter if you're a short king.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, no, they're tall. They're not short.
Do you have a favorite interview that you've ever done? I didn't ask this earlier. With anybody? Aww.
Yeah.
Aww. Do you have a dream person that you'd want to interview?
No.
I mean, you said too, like you're really into the roles, like the character. So I think it's hard to say, you know.
It's the people I want to interview most are like the people playing my favorite characters.
Yeah. Were you an interviewed the vampire fan before the show? Okay, so you were it was just the show.
It's the show that I love, you know.
Yeah.
So I watched the movie before the show came out,
right,
to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
And I had always heard about it, but never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've always loved vampires, but have never been so like obsessed with vampires until the show, really, you know. Like there's always been my favorite of the genre topics, you know. But other than like Twilight, but like it's not like I'm not the kind of person where I'm like, oh, I'll consume all vampire media just because it's vampires, you know.
Yeah, right.
But
for sure.
I am so show pilled. It's I watched the movie before watching the screeners because I knew I'd be covering the show because I was really interested in it from like the trailers and everything else I had seen from our like Comic-Con videos that Damian Holbrook did at San Diego before the show came out. I was like, I need to watch this. And then specifically, actually, I think it was like when Damian was like, this is like a true romance, which they didn't focus on in the books. I was like, or in the movie, I was like,
Yeah. Because I didn't want
gothic romance is my cup of tea, is like my exact cup of tea. I love it so much. And so, yeah, that's when like the love slowly started brewing. And then I had watched Game of Thrones and really enjoyed it. So I was like, oh, Grey Worm's in this? And
No, literally Grey Worm. That's how the fact that I'm
yeah.
saying Jane Anderson, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Um, so honestly, um, my favorite, it's, do you mean like a published interview or just like an interview in general, like a conversation?
Yeah, like that's fine. Just anything you've done.
Yeah, I honestly season 2 press day for interview season 2. That was my favorite because it was such like a treat for me just as a fan,
Yeah, to
like
have that
having
time.
all this time with all 5 of them, and then I also talked to
Right.
Mark as well. So like, I just like went into these different rooms, had my time with them, and it was just like it was really special because it's my favorite show. So it was like I get to
Dream
like
come true.
a couple of hours just
Yeah.
unpacking every detail of season 2 that I've seen so far with the people that made it. It's just everything I want to do for the rest of my life ever, you know?
You should also tell Val because she won't know about your favorite, the camera.
Oh yeah. So we did that for when I interviewed them in person, that was like I said, like they came to our office the day before for a shoot.
Yeah.
I had around that time last year had just come into possession of my mom's old Canon film camera.
Cute.
And it's a Canon AE1 program specifically, and that was like the first like camera that ever had like an automated setting apparently. But so it was the second generation of the Canon AE1, and this is important information. So I was like, Louis gets into photography in season 2. I have this film camera. It would be fun to just like have them like take film pictures of them. But then I'm like, wait, they should take pictures of each other because Louis is the photographer. Like, and then my roommate Hannah was like, you should look up when the camera came out, just to see if it's like from the same era as like the show or anything like that. And it turned out like just the luckiest thing in the world that the Canon AE1, the first generation, was first put on the market in the same exact month and year that Interview with the Vampire was first published.
Oh, that's crazy.
So I didn't even know that. We are doing this.
That's so spooky.
Yeah. So when they came in, we did, I think we had them for like 45 minutes that day. And crazy how much you do, like how little time like how much you have to do in such little time.
It's time, yeah.
They're pros.
Also, can you just imagine that being the like an actor, and it's like that's not even like you don't even join this to act, like you join it to act, and then you have to do that like it's like the whole like being a person like in that
Jesse
space.
Eisenberg. There's a video of Jesse Eisenberg that came out recently where he was like, actors are like not.
True, they're introverts.
Yeah, they're not the kind of people that want to be doing press.
And you're just like taken around, like
so I was like, I want them to take photos of each other on my film camera, and then we'll put that out. And then I was like, well, what other cameras can we film like
use? Yeah.
And so my coworker brought in her little Sony video camera that she had. We were filming on like the digital camera that our video guy has, and then Avery's camera to have like a variety of shots and stuff. And then we had our film shots, and it was great. And I actually want to share this story because there is this, you know how in one of the photos Jacob has like a candy wrapper in his hand?
Well, and in his mouth too, and several of them.
They're Jolly Ranchers. And so they get to the office, and I'm like, Delaney gets there first, and I'm like, can I get you anything? Do you want like a drink or like a snack or something? And she like asks for a tea, so I go make her a tea. And then we're waiting for everyone else to arrive, and they come within like the next 5 minutes, right? And I'm like, oh, I should like offer them some food. I like bring out this like box of like off-brand lemon Oreos that we had in my office.
Okay,
and I was like, it was like what we had, and I was like, oh, we surely have other snacks somewhere. I'll just put this out for now. And now we have like a basket of snacks in the office because of this day. Like I was like, we can't, like we have to have more snacks. And we usually do, but we just like, I guess we're out that day or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, waiting for a restock. And so everyone else is there, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm like, I am kind of hungry. Do you have anything I can snack on while we do this? And I was like, yeah, totally. And I go looking for stuff, and I can't find anything. And I'm like, oh no.
I'm so embarrassed. Yeah.
Oh God. Oh no. And I all I can find is this giant fucking jar of Jolly Ranchers. And I'm like, this isn't going to provide anyone's sustenance.
No, blood sugar.
I'm like, after that. And I had asked our office manager, I was like, oh, do we have any other snacks like in a storage bin somewhere? He goes, no, we're like, no, not right now. And I was like, okay. So I pick up this giant jar of Jolly Ranchers and I carry it back. I'm like, this is what I'm going to feed the Interview with the Vampire cast, I guess. And like, I had to go up to all 5 of them and be like, I'm so sorry. All I have is this giant jar.
Like, I did not know that this was happening.
I was like, I really thought we had more snacks. Do you want a Jolly Rancher?
And they Jacob took it. So
Delaney had never had a Jolly Rancher before, and so
because they're British.
Caught on camera.
I recommend.
British.
I recommended the watermelon flavor because that's my favorite one, and and then the candy started turning all their tongues different colors, and they had more after that, and the AMC reps were like, I think we have to stop eating the Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, that's funny.
It was really funny. So now we're always going to have like pretzels and chips in the office.
I think I like the Jolly Ranchers. I think that's a fun bet.
Like imagine you're hungry and you get
Jolly. You're like, I get a Jolly Rancher.
I was mortified, but
well, the whole photo shoot very cute. He also like lays on the ground, and I love to tweet that photo and be like, "Why was he get off the ground?" I love to like be mean to him. Like, get your ass up.
That was a really fun day. As you can imagine, I was smiling ear to ear the whole time. It was really fun.
But yeah, where can the people find you, follow your stuff, read your takes, and all of that?
Yeah, my social handle on everything is Kelli X Boyle, like it is on Twitter. And then I'm on all my writing is at TVInsider.com, some swoon stuff. Check out TV Insider's YouTube channel, see all of our fun videos. We have lots of stuff for your viewing pleasure. Read my interview.
Yeah, we'll have it all linked in the bio too. Yeah, well, thank you for coming on. Welcome to the club. Thanks.
Thank you. It's an honor to be part of the club.
See you next week.